made different type of works, mainly for association. I don't know the term in English about, in French is popular education. It's kind of political education for people. The idea is to be a citizen, you need to learn during all your life, and not only when you are a kid. And you to organize your group, to organize your life, you need tools, you need particularly to organize collective practice, you need to have some skills, and you have to learn that. With popular education, it's the main one of the main acts of it. And step by step, we did a lot of different things, like this newspaper for during 4 years. It's a political newspaper when nobody was paid, like a kind of independent, really independent newspaper. When we experiment a lot of typographic stuff, and it don't seem to be really political just if you see its forms. In French, this kind of newspaper are really have a very bad layout, very simple, and with the images are generally just cartoons, caricature. And we tried something really different for this. And we began also to did some installations and some science system also in space, public space. And maybe we can talk more precisely about kind of vehicle projects.
And as we live in 3 different cities, what is important is that we are looking for imagine and create graphic language, collective graphic language, even the distance, and with different particularity. So that's why we use a lot of tools like painting, collage, handwritten systems, and sorts of vocabulary of economy of medium.
It's in Marseille in 2014. Photokino Gallery hosted us for an exhibition, and we decided to create a kind of game about utopic and dystopic desires. And the idea of the game was you have a lot of wood parts to assemble it. You can assemble it on the huge skateboard, which represent kind of utopian island. And then on this piece of wood, you can write some ideas, some desires of kind of things you love, things you dream about. And then on the blue square, you should write some stuff you hate. And yeah, that's the game. December. And we did it a few times with other people, so not only by ourselves. At the beginning by ourselves, but next with other people. another person called Charlotte Ducousseau. It was an exhibition near Amiens, in the north of Paris. And we were invited for creating something free about street art. But as we are not really street artists, we searched for a long time what we have to do in this kind of with this kind of subject. And step by step, the art space was not a real art space. Like, yeah, you know, the installation, the walls are not perfectly right. The ground was bad also. So finally we thought that it wasn't a good idea to create something like in a white cube, and the idea was to install a car inside this space. And finally we, step by step, we arrived at this idea to work about car covers and custom that. Like it was a kind of forbidden media in the history of art. So we did a series of photos. Some were linked with their paysage, landscape, and others without link. And we tried to solve it, but it was failed. And that it's quite important work in our stuff. We were invited in a little city in the Jura region, at the border with Swiss, and during the 15 days of residence, at the end of these 15 days, there was a local carnival, and we decided to not produce an exhibition, but to be part of the carnival. And for that, to fabric, the first step was to imagine and to fabric some vehicles. And we find a lot of food, a lot of things in the place where we were invited, and we fabric this kind of strange stuff. There were also a big workshop, 6-screen workshop. We used a lot to print. And then we imagine what we can do with all the patterns we printed. And during the same time, we begin the creation of the vehicles. I forget the name in English for this kind of carnival vehicles.
Un char.
Un char. Yeah, like a parade car. It's a car. Yeah.
And the second week of the residence, we invited people to join us and custom the vehicle step by step with kids sometimes. Tried a lot before the carnival. And after that, there were an exhibition with that, and people can continue to use the cars in the exhibition. I can show the movie, the Tarnac movie now, maybe. You want to talk about that, Jeff?
I began to work directly on the surface of the cars because what I thought interesting with the car is not that is a car, but it's a strong element of the public space, and how can we reactivate the car in another way. So this first car was a sort of a music box for a small concert for 2 musicians and two public people. Just 3 minutes, 1 song, and you can hear the song playing live in the box, and maybe discover elements around the cars. And after 3 minutes, you let other people come in. And there is a second car. It was more or less the same, but in another place, and more electronic sound system.
This one?
This one, yes. And each time it's made with a collaboration painter or illustrator to help me to looking for colors, pattern with the environment elements. And it's very funny to use the car after, and because it's not a broken car. It's a friend's car, so after you can see them in the city. And the last one is it's another step, because we have decided with Quentin Faucompré, it's an artist who lives in Nantes with me, to imagine that the people is not inside the car but directly on the car, and people in the city space can benefit of like a performance. And this is more linked with the parade, and that is very interesting that you can perturbate a lot of elements in the urban space. The flow of the other cars and the pedestrian, and yes, it's interesting. Each time it's also a good paint work, because we need 2 or 3 days to recover, to work directly on the material surface.
We finished a project we ran for a year. We finished last year with a school art, kind of mix between a workshop and a residence, where we decided to don't work at school but in a territory near school, more rural, and then to go there. And we think it was we thought it was important to have a goal, something to do there, and not just go to meet people and yeah. So our goal was to create a vehicle to come back at school by step with, and then we fabric this kind of vehicles for during 3 weeks in different weeks, during winter, during spring. We created costume also. And the result at the end was a kind of mix between a parade and a little bit of randonnée trek.
It was a collaboration with a designer called Marion Pinafo, French designer.
How do you work? You are invited for this festival?
No, it was an invitation from an art school close to this country, to this place. And it was like a residency, but in an art school.
And then the designer, he was also there, or how do you collaborate with the designer?
The school invited us, and after we decided to invite another people to think more about structure and design system. And Marion Pinafo does a lot of decoration for parties or things like that, and we felt this very interesting to do that with this project.
And did you propose it in up front? So we're going to go outside of the school with some this young students?
It's students, yes.
Yeah. And the kids of Nicolas. The little kids are the Nicolas kids.
But it was not very easy with the school to let students come with us. And yes, it was not an easy project from the point of view of the school.
Okay, yeah.
But interesting because this project underlines a lot of institutional problems from the school.
We did a collaboration with landscape designers in Paris in an area really interesting called La Petite Ceinture, the Little Bell. It's an old train track to do the complete turn of Paris intramuros. And then, but it's closed since long time now. But it's still the owner is still the public rail in France. But since few years, the City Council of Paris can have the possibility to open it for inhabitants of Paris. And then Paris City ask a few collectives to produce some events, some residents, to imagine what can be the future of this area. Actually, it's closed; it's forbidden to go there. So a kind of free nature world there. And but after that, if you open it to public, what can happen? So one of our in our group with the landscape designers called Les Profit, we imagine the best things. One of the nice things we can imagine was to don't open it like a classic public space, like a park, because it needs a lot of changes to open it to everybody. But maybe open it like more like a trekking path in a city. Then you don't need to change too much things to open it like that, maybe. But it depends on the law also. And one thing important is the rails we stay there. The SNCF don't want to put off the rails because they want to keep the reversibility, we can say, is that in English? Of the site. And then a lot of inhabitants gave us the idea of, yes, we have to put some machine for using the ways. In English, I don't know the name of this kind of stuff, like the things you active like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or the race.
I don't know if
There's also like race.
Yes, like with two people, and then you do this,
Yeah.
and then you go forward.
In French, it's dressing.
Ah ouais?
Yeah.
I don't
But
think
dressing
Dutch
is
word.
just a vehicle which go on the ways, And then we said, okay, yes, we can use this machine already exist, but which kind of other race stuff we can imagine now. And we imagine some different funny stuff, like La Gondole from Venetia, but in Paris. The monkey, donkey, a tent, like a scoot. And we did some mise en scène with inhabitants after for a photo competition of postcards. That was made by kids. It's kind of little garden because the ground is really polluted because we don't have this kind of herbs for a long time. The whale company put a lot of pesticide on the wayside, so you don't have. It's very bad ground.
But it must enter your heart.
There's a picnic table also. You can like that decide where you eat, but you bring your table with you. Then I think it's done.